Hey everybody, welcome back to Word Balloon. It's John Suntress. A couple show notes before we get started. I talked a little bit about it on a couple of the intros of the current shows, but really, during this tough time, I'm going to do my best to provide as much entertainment as possible as we all get through this. I mean, I'm going to be doing a lot more video and a lot more interviews, so I'm on lockdown just like everybody else as far as work goes, and I want to entertain you as best as I can and help us pass the time and get through this tough time. So if you have any questions or comments about the show, please reach me via email, john@wordballoon.com. You can follow me on Facebook under my name, John Suntress. I've added a Word Balloon video page called Word Balloon Live. I hope you'll check it out. A lot of the same stuff that I've been putting up on YouTube will be there. I'm going to be doing some live streaming as well in the days and weeks ahead to, again, entertain us and kind of keep us, occupied. But thanks a lot for listening through the commercials. There might be one more before the show starts. But as always, thank you for listening and for your attention. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Word Balloon, the comic book conversation show. John Suntress here. It's time for another Picard, Star Trek Picard, Episode 8 review with my buddy Franco from All Yeah Comics and the All Yeah Comic podcast. We are two angry men on the porch yelling at clouds. What can we say? Actually, I enjoyed this episode, and I know Franco did as well, but we still had our little issues or questions about the show, but I think it is probably the best episode so far of the series, other than the first episode. I'll look forward to your opinions on that as well. But as always, I appreciate you guys listening, and we're happy to share our thoughts with you today. It's all brought to you by Aftershock Comics, shaking things up at your local comic shop right now and online with great digital and hard copy books like Stephanie Phillips' brand new Artemis and the Assassins, John Layman's The Man Who Effed Up Time, Zach Thompson's Undone by Blood, and God Killers from Mark Sable. They go along with your other favorites like Animosity from Marguerite Bennett and Raphael De La Tour, Donny Cates and Gary Brown's Baby Teeth, also Garth Ennis and Gordon Suzuka's A Walk Through Hell. Their catalog is filled with some of my favorite creators, from buddies like Tim Seeley, Cullen Bunn, Paul Jenkins, Phil Hester, so many more. Go to their website. You'll find full story descriptions, preview pages, and the way to get these books digitally or the diamond codes to order through your local shop at AftershockComics.com. And Word Balloon is also brought to you by my own Starfleet, the League of Word Balloon listeners. Thank you greatly, League, for your support. You are welcome in my crew and in my ready room anytime. And I thank you greatly for subscribing to Word Balloon via Patreon. Patreon.com/WordBalloon. That's the place to, if you'd like to subscribe to Word Balloon, that's the way you can do it. Word Balloon is free. It'll always be free. I am trying to give you as much great entertainment as I can every day and every week. And today's episode is no different. So check it out for yourself. Thank you greatly for your help, League of Word Balloon listeners. All right, without further ado, let's get into it and talk about the latest episode of Star Trek Picard, Episode 8, now on Word Balloon. All right, are you ready?
I think so, yes.
I'm leaving that in just because you're...
I don't know. I think so. So many things happen episode to episode. I'm not sure.
Welcome back to the Picard review. It's episode 8, and I don't have the episode name in front of me. The only reason why I don't is I've already got such a laundry list of all the shit that happened that why add one more thing? I mean, if this were on a mule's back, it would break because of all the stuff. How are you, Franco?
Yeah, lots of stuff. Who knew there was this much stuff going on in outer space?
Well, I kind of suspected, and again, we've been waiting for answers. And hey, thanks for waiting for until episode 8 to dump all this on us. And there's only 2 left,
right?
So this is gonna be very, very interesting.
Okay, so starting off, what was your?
I'll be honest.
Part of the episode.
I mean, I got my nitpicks, of course, but at least this was interesting, and a lot of stuff was finally explained. I'm shaking my fist at some things and rolling my eyes at other things, but it was entertaining. I thought it was entertaining.
Mm-hmm. More so than any other episode, except for the nostalgic Trek reunion stuff. This was, I think, one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, I would agree. I absolutely would agree. And we're closer to understanding some stuff, but of course, still mysteries to unravel. But I've got, all right, like I literally, this is so big of an outline. I can't believe all the shit that I've got in here, but let's start at the beginning. So, of course, we start with a flashback, as we always do.
Yeah, apparently the Jacques Vach.
Jacques Vach.
Yeah, they were created only 14 years ago. That's what I got out of it.
No.
That's I know.
That's not true.
Although I did have like kind of a. Are you kidding me? They only created this thing 14 years ago, and then they're like, no, hundreds of years. Oh, okay, all right.
If not thousands of years. Yes. And also now we saw that they were all hooded because we saw when Commodore O gave the mind meld to Agnes. That was one of the visions that we saw, and then also for the teaser for this week, they showed the circle of all of them, the Jat Vash circle. I said it was kind of a Jat mitzvah when you think about it, isn't it? Because
I was going to say it's the witches from Hamlet. Boil, double, boil and trouble.
Yes, indeed. So they are about to experience the prophecy and have kind of a big ass mind meld with, like, I don't know, some sort of virtual railing that they had set up. And
that was a hell of a party too, right? People are ripping their eyes out and smashing their heads with stones. It was awesome.
Yep. Yeah, it was crazy. So it killed most of them except for, and again, I don't remember her Romulan name, Rizzo, the secret Romulan. That's Narek's brother,
Spock's
Romulan Spock. Yeah,
Yep.
Spock's sister. Wow, she's like Rizzo is like Romulan Burnham then because she's Narek's sister.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so she, Commodore O, and we all remember Ramada, and I don't know what her real name is, but I'm going to call her Ramada Ann. Because and also we find out they're the only survivors of the circle, and we also find out that she's Rizzo and Narek's aunt.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Calls her
okay.
Uh-huh.
So, okay, that's fine. And then, of course, then she kind of checks in on Ramada after she's been, damaged and everything. Mm-hmm. Then, of course, Seven comes in, guns a-blazing, right when it looks like Eleanor's about to get chopped to pieces or shot to death or whatever.
And my prediction was true. She did become the Borg Queen.
You were correct, sir.
Oh, yeah.
And I was very impressed by that. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And, so her plan is she's going to revive the Borg drones because they outnumber the Romulans. That
was crazy when they jettisoned them all into space.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that. Absolutely. And yeah.
Sorry, I'm excited.
No, it's all good. And you're right about that. I got no problem with that. So, essentially, then we cut to Rios's Crystal Ball Rios's ship, and Picard and Soji beam on, and Picard wants Rios to go to Deep Space 12 to turn Agnes in and get reinforcements.
I just want to say that's 4 greater than Deep Space Nine. But go ahead.
That's true.
Or 3.
Or 5.
3. Yeah.
That's all right. No one told me there'd be math today. I understand. So, then Raffi yells at Picard for bringing Agnes on board and wants to kill Soji right away. And then, hey, Picard, you really don't – you didn't know about Agnes. What do you know about Soji other than your hopes that there's a glimmer of data in there?
Right.
Okay. So then we get subjected throughout the episode to the Festival of EMHs.
I like the part where Raffi becomes like the Jessica Fletcher of the show and is now in a Murder, She Wrote episode. Right?
Right.
Oh, wait a minute. You have a piece of the puzzle, and let me see if I get this right now. Just one more thing.
It was you in the study with the candlestick, Commodore Mustard. Yes.
It was a Raffi clue. I loved it.
That's true. You're absolutely right about that. But oh my God, and yeah, we get the tour de force of accents from Crystal Balls.
Yeah, he's got some good one there.
Man, I'm telling you. Okay, call me Emmy, call me Iffy, call me whatever. It's like Jesus Christ. But that's fine, and that's coming up. Then, okay, so Picard has another conversation with Admiral Fu, and still an asshole. An asshole. I mean, my God, look, I've got a concrete evidence of a Romulan plot. Yeah, whatever. Shut up.
Fuck you, Picard. Yeah.
Again, shut the fuck up, Picard. I'm sending you a squad to rendezvous with Rio's ship at Deep Space 12, so just stay.
I know people are fine with the swearing, and I don't know, just to me, it takes me out of the show every time someone does it. I guess just because I'm not expecting it. I don't know what it is, but every time someone swears, it takes me out of the show, and I'm like, oh.
Star Trek was always a family show. Even the motion picture in '79 when it came out was rated G. I mean, I'm sorry, and I don't buy the argument. Well, they didn't swear because they weren't allowed to swear, but if they could, they certainly would. No, sorry, no, I disagree. Whatever. Again, justify all you want, but and then of course when Raffi is being Jessica Fletcher, I like that Raffi Fletcher. Yeah. Murder she drank, murder she vaped. So
who's another famous detective? Sherlock Raffi.
I like that, but I want to put in murder she vaped or something. I think vaping needs to be in there. I get some Dragon Leaf. I can't handle this shit that I'm dealing with right now. Yeah. But so she's talking to the emergency, the ENH, and they identify like why is Rios freaking out about because he freaks out. He sees Soji and he's like I can't handle this, and he leaves the EMHs to run the ship, and he goes off to listen to Billie Holiday albums and drink some tequila. And how come he's not playing tequila while he's drinking his tequila? I don't know.
Because I'm not sure, but I think that would have been racist.
Probably. But yeah, so now the ENH identifies Soji as Jaina or Jana.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the hell's that mean? And also, what does an octenary mean? And the ENH says that it's a planet system with 8-star components.
Right. Raffi determines or figures out because she was getting closer. She expositioned that to the audience that she was getting closer, and pulling eight stars together, or 8 suns together with a planet in the middle.
Yeah, because screw physics. Right. Yeah, we're just gonna say you can do that. I'm sorry. Again, it's like, really, is that necessary? No. I don't think so. I mean, whatever. I mean, again, you could have a defense because I guess with all 8 now stars around the mystery planet, which we finally do get a name for it at the end. I think it was teased in next week's episode. I'll get to that at the bottom. But that it makes like the gravitational pull is going to be really difficult now and stuff. So you can appreciate maybe trying to pilot a ship through the combined gravitational pull of 8 suns, 8 stars. But again, no, you can't do that. Even Superman stories, they decided were too ridiculous when he was pushing stars and planets around. No, wrong. And again, I think Einstein would say, I've got a problem with this. Right. All of them, even Stephen Hawking, of course, who appeared on. I'm glad he's not alive to see the sun. I would not have done my cameo if I knew.
We should call Neil deGrasse Tyson and see what he thinks.
Oh, man. I can only imagine. I certainly hope so. I know Rob Burnett, my guy who I watch his YouTubes. Oh, his head exploded.
Really?
Absolutely. About everything, about all the things that he was shaking his fist at. But then they cut to the scene of Soji and Picard eating eggs, getting to know each other.
Uh-huh.
And so poor Soji doesn't know if her personality is real or programmed into her.
She doesn't know if she likes eggs or not, but she likes fries and peppermint.
Yeah, fries and peppermint ice cream.
Yeah. Who the hell programmed that?
Maddox, apparently.
So now I was a little confused because I've only watched the episode once.
Okay,
but now Cabreo Rios, whatever,
Crystal
Balls. He calls her Jana.
Right. And hold on, we'll get to that.
Okay, go ahead.
Because first of all, I want to acknowledge that. Okay, I don't know how I feel about it. And I want to know your feelings about it. Because all right, Soji and Picard, they're eating, and they're trying to get to know each other. And then she asks a lot about Picard and Data's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think? How did Data love you? I don't know. Well, what do you think he felt about you? How am I supposed to know? What do you want him to think of you? That whole thing. I'm kind of both ways about that. I'm like, on one hand, it's like, all right. But on the other hand, I'm like, really? All right, whatever. You're wasting some more valuable real estate time right now on this crap. But okay. I mean, I guess she's trying to figure out herself along with, and her link to Data and everything. I guess.
Picard would have known what Data felt. Nothing. He didn't have any.
Oh, I don't know. No, I thought his reactions were genuine, but I just felt like the whole conversation. It's like, all right, do we need this? Mm-hmm. Okay, whatever. And then she claims at the end to know that Data loved Picard, and I'm like, I don't buy that. I mean, is there some little message, kind of like how Dr. Soon used to leave messages to Data in his dreams and stuff like that? I don't know. So then
I would have assumed the same thing. Yeah, your thinking is right on par with mine with that.
You agree that you're I don't know if we needed that or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it's, again, something that they're dropping for later, but we don't know.
Right. Yeah, well, I didn't even buy last week when Riker's like, hey, you tilt your head just like Data. It's like, yeah, it's the first time I think she's done that, but okay.
Right.
Whatever. So then Raffi's talking to Ian, the EEH, and she's like, how did Rios know Jaina and Raffi? And also, that's when they figure out the octenary system that you have to capture 8 suns and put them in motion to leave a warning. What? What? So Raffi jumps to the conclusion. She jumps to that conclusion, in my opinion. I wrote this down. It kind of reminded me of the way that Burt Ward, when he was Robin, used to solve the Riddler's weird clues. And it's like, what's long and yellow and seldom rings? An unlisted banana. And then and Commissioner Gordon would go, of course.
My gosh. You're right, Boy Wonder. Yeah.
Gosh, yes. But yeah, it's like, really? Okay. If you say so, Captain Exposition, I'm with you. Moving forward. Then we find out that Rios obviously.
Do you think Cristobal Rios was upset by seeing his captain murder himself? Yeah. Like he said he saw the brain splattered across the bulkhead enough times.
Right. And he had mentioned it in earlier episodes, but we finally get a little more information on that. And I'll get to that in a second, because then they cut to Seven deciding, all right, I'm going to revive the drones, assimilate them with her in control. And, Eleanor's do it. And, because I know nothing. What's the problem? And she's like, well, once we have a collective again, they're not going to want to be released. I may not want to give up control. So I thought that was cool.
I liked that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. That was an interesting moment. I didn't see it coming. And although you did, Borg Queen, I really like that. And again, I like that she's kind of she's afraid of the power.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate that. Mm-hmm. So then we get the big murder she vaped scene with Raffi and all the EMHs.
Each one of these holograms holds a clue. Yeah.
And all right, so they say Captain Van Diemer or Vandermeer was killed. Captain Van de Kamp was killed. He killed himself. Rios lost his shit over it, and it's all classified. So they're obviously she's gonna have to talk to Rios and get all this out of her. And then finally, we get Picard and Agnes having their scene, and he's just like, "How could you?" I'm liking
her less and less.
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll get to that weirdness again too. But so how could you have done this? How could you have killed Maddox? Everything you did, and she's like, "Well, Commodore O, she did something to me. She poisoned me. She poisoned my mind. She also put in a psychic block to keep me from talking about it. And after she saw the visions that Commodore O subjected her to, much like the Jacques Mitzvah women." They didn't dance the horror. They all grabbed rocks and started bashing their brains out. She's like, I've been thinking about killing myself every day ever since I've seen the visions. And she says the visions were of things that happened thousands of years ago. We're at a threshold. This is all hubris, like Maddox. We're at a threshold. If we don't stop the Destroyer and allow synths to evolve and become as sentient as Soji and these others, the Destroyer prophecy will happen again. Okay. And that's fine. I mean, that's essentially what they've been telegraphing to us. Mm-hmm. So then we cut back, and that's when Crystal Balls is listening to his vinyl collection of Billie Holiday music. Right. And I love Billie Holiday. I'm a big fan. Did you recognize her right away, the singer?
I recognize the song, but no.
Oh, okay. There you go. And they cut back and forth between Agnes and Soji's conversation and Rios and Raffi's conversation. Mm-hmm. So Raffi's trying to get to the bottom of what happened with Captain
Cristobal's
Van Diemer.
Vandermeer,
whatever. Uh-huh. And meanwhile, Agnes has a million questions for Soji. What do you do when you sleep?
Yeah.
Or when you're tired, I go to sleep. What do you do when you're hungry? I eat. Mm-hmm. I cry, I drink. Okay, great. And she's like amazed by all of it.
Right.
And so then Van Diemer's revealed that there was a first contact mission that was sent out of the blue. Starfleet sent them off to meet this guy who referred to himself as a flower of some sort, and Jaina.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, fine. So they sent.
Now there was only. See, that's where I was a little confused because I only saw the episode 1. So Jaina's on the ship and the flower guy is on the ship.
Yeah, a guy he refers to himself. Where is it again?
So someone drew the picture of crystal balls and Jaina.
Right.
And who did that? Did he? Say?
Jaina. Yes, Jaina. You see, and again, this is why, because they just spit so much stuff so quickly. No time. We have no time to pay attention. Got to keep moving.
Right.
Again, you had 8 episodes to get to this point, but whatever. Dump it all here. Okay, fine. So, yeah, what happened was they're on a first contact mission. They meet this guy, whatever his name is, Flowers, and Jaina. Jaina draws the picture of herself and Rios. That's the picture that he's got.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, is it also racist that he's got his mementos of Captain Vandermeer in his Cuban cigar box?
I think so, just slightly though, so it's okay.
All right, there you go. Just ask. So they have this first contact mission. They tell Starfleet, "Hey, we're having this first contact meeting." Suddenly, they get a Black Ops thing saying, they got to kill this guy, and they got to kill both of them. And if he disobeys, hold on one second. Where am I? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, if he disobeys, they're going to kill the whole crew,
right?
Or the whole ship, or anything.
As in Crystal Ball's own words, Rios's killings, or I should say, Vandermeer's killings, were a black flag directive from Starfleet security. That would be Commodore O.
Uh-huh.
If he disobeyed, the ship would be destroyed with all hands.
Right.
Rios strongly objected that not knowing this, he objected when Vandermeer killed them. And I think Vandermeer, overwhelmed with the guilt and also that Starfleet would make him do such a heinous thing, that he blew his brains out.
Right.
And
Which I found all a little suspect. If this guy's a Starfleet officer. Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah. Continue with your doubt. Because again, bad writing.
Yeah. Because even Picard later was like, "Oh, I knew someone that went to school with him or whatever," and
right.
He's like one of the best and brightest Starfleet had. Then really, he kills these people without finding another solution, and then offs himself because okay, that's the end.
And that's the big problem with new Star Trek is all of these supposedly members of Starfleet. It's like, no, they would not have been Starfleet on the old shows because Starfleet only does the best and the brightest. And yeah, occasionally you get a guy that's a little dictatorial or martinet or whatever, and could be kind of a little it's my way or the highway or whatever. But I don't believe that they break the code. If they break the code, then they're on a Starfleet.
Mm-hmm.
And even if Starfleet sends them off to do this kind of heinous thing, I think a stronger captain would be like, no, I'm going to question this and I'm going to investigate this and not let this happen.
There's no oversight for Sandra O, Commodore O, to just off him because we need it.
Right.
Well,
it was a Black Ops thing, so kind of in the vein of a Section 31 kind of assignment, but not Section 31,
right.
unless that's revealed later.
But it reminds me of that whole Star Trek Discovery thing. They just went into the future, so from now on, nobody talk about it.
Yeah. That's what it's that, and it's again, or it's H. John Benjamin in the Short Trek Tribble thing, where it's like, there's no way in hell that guy's in Starfleet. I'm sorry, he'd wash out before he'd get to that point. He would.
Yep.
So yeah, that really bugs me. But then Rios obviously covered it up. He covered up, he dumped the Jaina and Flower Man's bodies into space. He fixed the transporter records so there'd be no evidence that they came on the ship. And he let Starfleet know that Vandermeer killed himself for no reason at all. And then 6 months later, Rios is out of Starfleet due to post-traumatic dysphoria. But his spirit was broken.
Right. That guy, they drum him out of Starfleet, but all these other crazies, they keep him in.
Yeah. Well, it's just like Raffi, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gone. Why? Well, I mean, it's because it's important for the story. No time. Keep moving. So, and then, of course, they cut back to Agnes and Soji, and she's so, like, amazed by her. She tells her, oh, my God, Soon, Dr. Soon thought he was an amazing artist creating data, but Maddox, look what he did. He gave you moles. And,
you have a beauty mark. Yeah.
And a crooked pinky toe.
Yeah.
Thanks for telling us about that.
Yeah.
All right. But she's like, Agnes, and I love this. Agnes assures Soji she'll never try to kill her again. Well, that's great. You've already killed Maddox. I don't know how we can trust you on that, but whatever. So then Rizzo, back to the Borg cube, she comes up with the great contingency thing of, or I should say the Centurion does, hey, how about if we open all the airlocks and that way the Borgs will spill out in space and die?
Yeah.
And Rizzo's like, awesome idea. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Sounds great, Greg. And she's killing ex-Borgs. Wow.
I'm happy we workshopped this problem out. Yeah, do it. Yeah.
And so, yeah, Seven connects to the cube. The drones start to activate. And Seven is clearly, in charge of this collective. So then cut back to the crew. And Agnes saying she's sorry for killing. And she's going to turn herself in.
Yeah, by the way, that was my favorite line in the whole episode. I'm done murdering people now. I'm like, who wrote that and get him out of the writer's room immediately?
Well, again, and let's cut back to Discovery, because I had the same problem when Ash Tyler, the Klingon turned human, killed Dr. Culver, Stamets's Dr. Lova. And even though he was brought back implausibly by the mycelial, network and everything, and was relived, like, obviously when it was revealed that Ash was like killed, Burnham's like, I never want to talk to you again. And he's kind of alone in the mess hall. And then all of a sudden, like, Telly comes by and she sits down next to him and everybody else does. And it's this like Degrassi high school moment of, look, you did kill one of our good friends, but it's okay. We could still be friends. It's okay. It's like, what? What? All it's missing is some 90s like sad Lilith Fair kind of pop music. And then you got an episode of Degrassi Star Trek. It's like, what the fuck is going on? All right, we forgive you. It's all right. I know you won't kill again. Because you're all close to me as a crew. And
you've become my crew. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, that makes me feel better on the lifeboat. Hey, we got Killiger Killy over here that's saying she's not going to kill anymore.
She's not going to kill anymore. And now we have Dodge, who we don't even know, with super strength because she just punched a hole in the table we're all talking at. Yeah, I feel safe on this ship.
And that's when Rios gives Soji the peppermint ice cream and French fries. And she's like, how do you know I like this? How come Agnes didn't throw up again?
Right. So now my question is, like, crystal balls,
yes,
covered it up, but Jana was on the ship. So is there a whole planet of these things?
I believe so.
Dodges and Sojis and Janas and
I
flowers?
believe so. Yes, I believe so.
Did he just like factory output them? So then
we don't know. We won't know until we get to the planet. But go on.
So then the other question is, I wrote something down here. I can't even read my writing. So, I have questions like, what, why, how many fucking holograms did he have? These are things I wrote down.
That's surreal. So many holograms.
Right. Yeah. But did these Romulans like create the Borg? Is that what this is all about?
Well, I think that's what we're leading to, definitely. Well, again, I've got my, I am prepared again for another episode of Murder She Vaped, because this is when Raffi, much like Jessica, gathers everybody up, and this is what we know. So 200 to 300 years ago, or 3,000, they gathered the Zhat Vash gathered 8 suns and hung a planet in the midst of them, and the Romulans placed a warning, and I believe Soji says it's called the admonition. The warning says, don't do what we did. We created synths. They evolved. It didn't go well. The Romulans created Zhat Vash to kill all synthetic life and to prevent it happening again. That would be Battlestar Galactica. Everything that's happened before will happen again.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Noonien Soon created Data 30 years ago, they sent the half, and then now they finally explained how she can mind meld the half Vulcan, half Romulan Commander O to infiltrate Starfleet, rise through their ranks, become the head of security, with one mandate: to end Starfleet research into synths. And obviously then they also come up with the obvious thing that the Romulans were behind the attack on Mars. 9 years ago, Rios and Vandermeer's ship encounters the two aliens. His name was Beautiful. Call me Beautiful Flower. And this is my friend Jaina. Hi. It's kind of like Mr. Peabody. Yes. Hello. I'm Beautiful Flower. And this is Pocahontas. Hello. So, yeah. And Soji knows all about this. She's like, wait, now that you said that, this is all coming back to me. So now Maddox, after the Mars attack, he fled to this planet where the synths were created, where the Romulans created the synths hundreds of years ago, and it didn't go well. So he went back to that world, determined to carry on his work. But the Zhat Vash have been searching for this world ever since. And now, with her dreams, Soji's led them to it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So does that make sense now? Because honestly, first time I'm watching, I'm like, what? Huh? What? All right. I know I'm going to watch this again. All right, fine, whatever. So then, of course, Soji takes over the ship, and she wants to go to the homeworld instead of Deep Space 12. And Rios sings his lullaby that his mother taught him to deactivate the force fields, and he's able to get control again. And in the meantime, Soji finds a Borg transwarp conduit to take her to this home planet, and she convinces Rios, look, we got to do this for Jaina's sake. Don't do it for me. Do it for Jaina, that girl that you met for like 2 hours before your captain killed her. Yeah. So, now, stupid question. Any reason why you don't give Starfleet the same information so they can all descend on this planet? And maybe have some still has exactly.
Shut the fuck up, Picard.
Look, Christy, I know you're mad at me still for that night. Go fuck yourself, Picard. Hey, enough. Must you drop an F-bomb every time we talk, Christy?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? Good Lord. So, and then the cool thing is, okay, so the best is when all the ex-Borg, after Rizzo's just killing them at,
Yeah, she's just taking them all down, right?
Yeah. So finally a group of them are like, hey, guess what? There's more of us than you. And they rip her apart.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's coming away from that. I think she died then.
Didn't she beam out of there? It looked like she beamed out.
Oh, I could be wrong. I thought she got
some sort of green light and a sound effect there.
Please don't make me watch this a third time. I don't think I can handle it.
People can write in with their answers. We'll see.
Yeah, please feel free. Absolutely. And then now again, the cube is back under Borg control. And seems to be on the way of operating again. I don't know how many drones are left because of all the airlock dumping and stuff, but 7 then disconnects, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, like I said, I thought she was the badass of that.
Oh yeah, but yeah, it's interesting. Now I've heard other people say that once the cube was reactivated, that the Borg Collective will be coming to retrieve the cube. I don't know about that. And again, I don't want to watch it a third time to find out.
Right.
I got to be honest. I thought they'd explained that after the failure of assimilating those Romulans and stuff, that that cube was disconnected from. And in fact, when 7 said, hey, I'm going to, activate them and I'll be the conduit, that it would create their own separate collective from the big collective.
Right, but also didn't Auntie Mamie, the redheaded
Ramada,
Ramada, when they assimilated her, like I can't keep track of all of the names, real or otherwise. Rizzo. She said they took the wrong Borg when they assimilated you. It was somehow she was the reason her her corrupted mind or something like that was what did in this Borg cube, or did she work once she was assimilated and corrupted them or something? Or I didn't understand that either.
Well, I'm assuming that because she was among those Romulans and that she is part of the Zhat Vash, that maybe there's something in her psyche or DNA that, again, the Zhat Vash are out to kill synths and everything. So maybe, yeah, there was some sort of, I don't know, disconnect or whatever that happened where the Borg obviously couldn't assimilate them.
Right.
And so maybe the Zhat Vash know a way of keeping assimilation from happening. I'm not sure. But then we cut back to Picard and Rios, and he's like, I knew Vandermeer through his old captain. She was great. He was great. Did Vandermeer know that those two things were synths? He died knowing that Starfleet betrayed him. And he says the Zhat Vash set up the trap, and Starfleet gave in to fear. If what the destroyer is correct, what if the destroyer is correct? That's what Rio asks, and he's like, "Look, that was the past. The future is left up for us to determine. Romulans only have distrust and fear. We have hope. We have the truth. They make it to the ship or the planet, which, by the way, is called Capelios, and it looks like Narek's ship is right behind them." And that's the end of the episode. But I have one question. In all this time and all that's happened, sure doesn't seem like Picard, Rios, and the rest of the crew give a shit about Eleanor anymore, do they? I wonder if he's alive. I wonder if he's dead. Should we go back for him? What happened? Nah, that doesn't matter. No time. Keep moving. No time. So that confused me, but so that's what I had for the episode. And that's a lot.
Yes.
I mean, good Lord, how long have we been talking? All right, a half hour. Just a half hour to get through all that stuff. Jesus Christ.
You should have just watched the episode again.
My God. I'm tired. I got to lay down. Unbelievable.
It was crazy. It was the best of the episodes so far, I think. But there was a lot of dump in this.
Yeah.
They dumped a lot of stuff on everybody.
Yeah. So, again, whatever. I know the people that, are some people that are listening are like, I'm sorry, we don't think that hard. We just want to be entertained. Right. But the thing that really irked me was, they just grabbed 8 stars and put them together. Sure they did. Sure. Tractor beam. There we go. No problem. That's fine. And actually, in fairness, we have seen attempts on Next Generation and the other shows to use tractor beams to slightly push a planet more out of orbit or in orbit, things like that. But these are galactic inches compared to, grabbing 8 suns and let's fling them to deep into Romulan Star Empire space. That's another thing, because that was another maybe this does have something to do with the time before the Romulans and the Vulcans split, and maybe it's a lost planet in the Alpha Quadrant territory. Nope, it's in the Romulan Star Empire. And I'm like, all right.
One of the things that still kind of sticks out at me in not necessarily a good way is this, the Romulans against technology, synth technology and stuff like that. But there's been a lot of it in Star Trek before, going way back to even Kirk and the original series, where they came across a lot of manufactured life form.
That's right. That's right.
Harry Mudd's planet, didn't he have all those
androids? Yeah. Yes, my Lord Mudd.
Yeah.
Stella, shut up, Stella. Thing.
Uh-huh.
I love Stella. Big fan.
Yeah.
She's almost as good as Agnes.
And the Romulans have been around all this time doing this? I don't think so.
Yeah, I like I said, there's the Defector episode where the admiral that's defecting sees data and goes, I can think of a dozen Romulan cybernetics that would love to get this close to you. And they didn't, so yeah, it doesn't jive. Again, you just have to accept, look, they don't give a shit about continuity. They're about that kind of nitty-gritty continuity. And it's like, all right, whatever. And again, the other thing is that drives me nuts, and I was reading buddies like Larry Young and John Price commenting on last night's episode, you just again, it's these the idea that they chose to do. Yeah, ooh. That's so tired of man. They chose to do one story and do this current streaming thing of, okay, each season is one big story. They chose to do that. They're doing it poorly. Yep. Larry's like, this whole thing could have been covered in a really good 2-part Next Generation episode. I kind of agree.
Yeah.
You didn't need 8. You didn't need episodes. Yeah, you did not need 8 episodes to get to this point. And yeah, they're telling a one big long story, but they're telling it poorly. And they're not using real estate well, and they're slipping in little soap opera moments that nobody gives a shit about other than, the moment. Riker and Troy lost a baby. They lost a boy. Yeah. Are we ever going to hear about them again? No, probably not. It's like, okay, thanks. That was worth 10 minutes. All right. Whatever.
I saw something today, so hold on. Let me. Oh, it was Andy Price, who, our good friend Andy Price.
Yes.
Artist extraordinaire.
Also angry about Picard. Go on.
Yeah, but I read his post this afternoon about, and I'm going to read his post right now. Okay, latest episode of Picard was interesting, still moving at a slow pace, but Seven's interaction with the Borg was great, which we thought as well. Mm-hmm. Although I'm still very curious as to why Star Trek on the whole has always pretty much turned its back on artificial life prior to Data. Kirk and company met a hefty number of artificial life forms, some equally, if not more advanced than Data. Harry Mudd had an entire planet of them. The old ones that Roger Corby discovered could easily come into play in the story. The way it's being set up, Data was far from the first of his kind.
Right.
Yeah. He's not wrong.
Roger Corby, absolutely. The Mr. Flint, the Immortal, that they meet in 3rd season, and he's got his ward, and she's an android. And remember, she declares her independence and everything, and Kirk's all excited because he's fallen in love with her, and then she overloads, and she dies. You can't die. Yeah. Good stuff, man. I don't know. But again, that's old continuity, and they haven't done their research. They either haven't done their research or they don't care.
Or they don't care.
Yeah. And again, if they had just said, something, it's a soft reboot. We're not going to be, slaves to continuity or something. We wouldn't have liked it, but at least if they would declare that up front, as opposed to, oh, no. This is in the Prime Universe. It's the same guy, same story. And it's like, not really. So whatever. Oh, and back to the Zhat Mitzvah. I give Larry credit because he noticed that one of the women. Now I don't know if this was. She's got the hood on, and maybe it's shadows that are making her look more human. But one of the Zhat Vash hooded women looks very human. She's a woman of color, and she seems to have normal ears. She doesn't seem to have crazy ears. Oh. So I don't know. I want to even read a couple of Larry's comments that he got. And this guy, Peter Sakash, says, another episode of somebody yelling at Picard. My favorite part was Admiral sheer fucking hubris. What did she tell Picard? Shut the fuck up. The ships are on their way. Yeah. Man, they're dropping that F-bomb on this show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And also he says, Dr. Girardi, I'm done killing people. Everyone else says, oh, okay, come on down and sit with us. Again, Degrassi Star Trek. Yes.
Exactly what we said.
Jesus, man. Oh, you're killing me. And it's so funny. My guy, John Price. John Price is this great academic, and he writes really long, thoughtful essays at Medium.com he was doing it about Discovery, and now he's doing it about Picard. And he's like, at this point, I'm really just doing this because I started and I'm going to finish, but I'm not enjoying this anymore. He just gave up. Yeah. It's like, all right, that's it. I can't handle this anymore. He was killing me, man. But I love Larry's observations. I have a feeling that he and others will be on Word Balloon soon, and John to talk, and we'll just kind of vent our frustrations as you and I have tried to do every week.
Right.
So, some comments from last week that I liked. Our buddy Cully Hamner wrote, I felt like seeing Picard, Riker, and Troy together kind of saved it. The pacing and editing is still, in my opinion, on the weak side. But it's amazing how much Stewart seemed more like the Picard I remember in the presence of Jonathan Frakes and Marina Sirtis. Their scenes together were very cool. One gripe: who made the call to put Riker in what is basically a bell-shaped housecoat for that episode? Frakes is heavy. He's a thick dude these days. But they could have dressed him in a more slimming wardrobe. I mean, here's a pic from him from a con appearance around the same time that he shot the episode. He's big, but not that big. Right. And yeah, he is. He's definitely put on a good retirement 20.
He's home, and when I'm home, I don't know about you, Johnny, but when I'm home, I put on my big frumpy house coat.
Oh, I wear overalls. I wear bib overalls. I look like Junior Samples from Hee Haw. The big guy. Jesus Christ. And David Halis says, it speaks volumes about Picard that I'd rather watch a grieving Troy and old man Orson Welles-esque Riker making pizza than a sci-fi yarn about a Borg cube with those new characters. I should be feeling more when Legolas gets trapped on the cube, but I was absolutely unconcerned for
Legolas? Did he call him Legolas?
I mean, Rob Burnett calls him Space Legolas. Well, and I had, all right, my good friend, Evan Levinstein, a fine podcaster, is like, I go, come on, man, he is a Hobbit ripoff. And he's like, well, more of an archetype. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm like, wait a minute. You can have warrior Romulans. They don't have that don't have to be dressed exactly like stupid Legolas, for Christ's sake. Jesus. I'm like, yeah, it's beyond an archetype. It's, hey, remember the Lord of the Rings movies? Here's one, and we just threw him into Star Trek. How you doing?
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous. The fucking hubris. Where are you, Admiral F.U.? Fuck off! I'm busy. Well, a lot of F-bombs on this show.
Yeah, wow.
I can't help it.
Family show.
Jesus. Yeah, I hear it because now Scott Larson, a fine local Chicago comic creator, I absolutely love Elnor, and I'm like Legolas ripoff, naive with a sword versus disruptors, and he's like, I still love him.
Oh, the one thing he did say here, I did kind of like him a little bit better in this episode too. Like he's like, yeah, do that. Like after she explains, oh, I'd have to take over all the board. Yeah, do that. In his. Which I thought was funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
What was I going to say? He said something. Oh, that's what it was. Where like, why did you stay behind on this ship? I think she asked him in some form, right?
Yeah, I couldn't
and he
hear
goes,
what he said.
Because I found a cause even more worthless than the one Picard hired me for.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, come on.
Well, but that's what he is. He's Saint Anthony. He's the patron saint of lost causes. Absolutely. I have a feeling St. Anthony getting a lot of prayers lately with what's going on in the society today with coronavirus and stuff.
And Mitch Halleck from Terrificon yelled at me because I couldn't remember St. Anthony, and he wanted to know what kind of an Italian religious person I was. I said, not a very good one on either front, I think.
Well, I burst Mitch's bubble because he sends me this like several paragraph thing of, okay, I think the Romulans created the Borg, and this is why this happened. And I'm like, yeah, man, like I've read that theory a million times already. He's like, oh, F you, man. I just thought of that today when I was walking the dog. I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, and I go, these aren't exactly Sherlock Holmes mysteries. He goes, they're not even Encyclopedia Brown mysteries. And he's right. Tip of the hat and said Solomon for Encyclopedia Brown. Where the hell have you been, man? I used to love that guy.
Just you read those? Yeah, I did.
I love those stories, man.
Yeah.
Let's get a reboot of Encyclopedia Brown up on streaming, please. Star Trek Encyclopedia Brown.
Yeah, we can put Legolas in it.
Yes, please. And Raffi. Raffi could be Encyclopedia Brown. Hey, wait a minute. That's racist.
Hey, give me some wine.
yeah, computer. Let me have some wine. Oh, sorry, lassie.
I like that she's so much of a blackout drunk, that she forgot that she disabled the computers in her quarters.
That was the EPH, the emergency bartender hologram.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, lassie. You've been cut off. You can't stay. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And it's like, okay, crystal balls, we get it. You can do an Irish accent. Jesus, like half of them are Irish, for God's sake. I did like when they would collectively scramble and they couldn't figure out why Jaina and Soji were connected and stuff. I don't know. Ask me another question. I don't know.
Well, I know the answer. Oh, wait, I don't know it. Yeah.
I can't. They can't ken it. It's beyond their ken. And again, lots of Irish slang in Star Trek Picard. It's very confusing. He's a French guy played by a British guy, surrounded by a bunch of other nationalities, including a Cuban guy that apparently has a lot of Irish in him.
Yes, that sounds correct.
Thank you. Just checking. All right. I just wanted to make sure I was going through the list properly.
There's Agnes, who's devoutly not going to be murdering anybody else.
Yeah, exactly. So can we sit together at lunch? Sure. Have a seat.
I like you. You're my crew. I may kill one of you. Oh wait, no, I promised I wouldn't.
Don't kill anybody today. Don't kill anybody today.
While she's sitting there at the lunch table with them.
just chanting to herself. Not supposed to kill. Not supposed to kill.
Wait a minute. Why does she get fried some peppermint? I may have to kill again.
Get anywhere that red velvet cake I can throw up, please?
Yeah. Give me 7 pieces so I can eat them all at once and then throw up.
I think Mitch might have said, too, that he thinks that because she's throwing up that maybe Agnes is pregnant.
Ooh.
Which is possible.
And how did that happen? She hasn't
probably
seen Maddox in a while.
Did the nasty with Maddox before. No, because he left years earlier. I don't know. Well, no, it can't be crystal balls because it's too fast. I don't know. Well,
if they can pull 8 suns around the planet,
anything's possible. Exactly.
Faster. Yeah,
it's true. Well, maybe that's where she's got that Borg or that Tribble DNA, just like the Tribbles have human DNA.
Right.
And that she's got a little Tribble DNA so she can self-procreate and everything.
Well, that's convenient.
2 more, man.
I don't know. Discovery starts back up eventually.
Yeah, I don't know. They haven't announced a start date. If they're smart, it won't be more than a month in between Picard and Discovery. But I don't know. I haven't heard any announcements. And then also they had a big stockholder meeting at the end of the year, and the new guy that's in charge of Viacom CBS is like, we know Lower Decks is still coming. That's the animated series that the Rick and Morty guy is show running.
Uh-huh.
And, of course, more Discovery, like we said. But they've, floated the ideas of, hey, maybe another movie. And, maybe, a couple other shows in development.
Yeah, I posted that article about Pike, possibly, maybe.
Right. Now, I do think that that's a very distinct possibility.
Yeah.
The new Star Trek movie, I don't know if you saw, Simon Pegg was interviewed off the cuff. And they said, do you think there's going to be another Star Trek movie? And he said probably not, because the Star Trek movies don't make Marvel movie money. And his point, if you really think about the economics and stuff, if you throw in the promotional budget and everybody's salaries and all the special effects and stuff, these movies cost like $200 million a movie.
Right.
And for them to really make a profit, they need to make 3 times that, like $600 million. And Star Trek Beyond, the third movie, didn't even make $400 million worldwide. So I don't, and Paramount has really not had many hits. I mean, Sonic was a hit for them, surprisingly and thankfully.
Well,
but
that's because they changed that design,
right?
Because
thank God they did.
Freaked out, yeah.
Right.
My son, I haven't seen it. I'd like to at some point. I wasn't going to rush out and see it in theaters, but my son saw it and he said it was really fun.
That's good to hear.
I'm intrigued. Yeah.
No, it's good to hear. But again, that's the thing. Paramount is really, really careful with how they're spending their money. And after 3 Star Trek movies, the only one that did close to $600 million was the first one. And the others or was it the second one? I know only one did really, really exceptionally well. And even that, if it was the second one, even though everyone went to it, they didn't like it, and that's why they didn't show up for the third movie. So I don't know how the economics break down in terms of trying to make another movie, because the smart thing was with the original series and Next Generation series movies, they started, they hung on to costumes and they hung on to set pieces, and they could redress a bridge to make it look like either an original cast bridge or a Next Generation bridge, and we're able to do that so many times and repurpose uniforms and costumes and other things to keep costs down. Because, really from 79 till 2004, that was just part of Paramount, and they just kept making new stuff, but also leaning on other props and costumes and sets that had come before. And now they're making stuff from scratch. Now they do have a basic modern bridge or I should say original series era bridge, but certainly teched up a little bit higher for not only the JJ movies but also Discovery and potentially a Pike Enterprise series. So they've got that, and they've got uniforms. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems like it's so expensive to make these movies and stuff that I don't know if Paramount's willing to make that gamble. I think, thankfully, I think it will stay a streaming product, and we'll see how they repurpose things moving forward to keep the cost down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. There you go, sir.
Well, this has been another episode of griping about Star Trek.
Like some things.
Yeah. I did like things in this episode. I thought it was the best episode so far. But yeah, again, we're just being really nitpicky about stuff.
But again,
because we like Star Trek, and this isn't it.
Yeah, because we like good Star Trek, and we hope for the best. And honestly, it's so weird. Every Wednesday evening, I'm like, wow, if I wake up in the middle of the night, as I usually do because of my radio hours and stuff, I'm probably going to, in a couple hours, see a new episode of Star Trek Picard. And part of me is really excited to see it, and part of me is like, all right, let's see what the hell they do this week.
Right.
Whatever.
Yep.
And sure enough. But, man, I'll tell you, it was, while I was watching it, I'm like, what? And I even rewound it a few times when I was first watching it. And finally, I'm just like, I'm just going to have to sit down, watch it again, hit pause a lot, write out what I know or what I'm hearing, and figure it out from there. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. I'll be looking forward to everyone's comments in the days ahead. I'll put up a photo on Facebook and Instagram and the like, and see if what people think of the show, and get your comments. I thank you. I thank you for saying nice things about enjoying these review shows.
Yeah,
I've got some really nice emails and comments and stuff that people are really enjoying them, and I'm glad to hear that. And until next time, live long and prosper, and have some peppermint ice cream and fries on us.
And don't murder anybody if you can help it.
Yeah, and you shut the fuck up. The fleet's on the way.